Hey Aaron, Joe here again. Okay, this video is going to be on the pre-work, the pre-setup of Solitaire. And as I explained before, you have to use all the elements of Treasure and Trap, the expansions, class, and random encounters. But there are some cards that you won't use. I think it's a little less than 20 cards that just don't function based on the description of what I could pull out. It didn't have like a creature, a title in it, or a number, and I just couldn't use it. So in the rules, there are a specific list of cards that are omitted, and it tells you exactly from which deck, random encounters or event cards or item cards, and you pull those out before you set up the game. So once those cards are set up, once they're removed from the decks, the way Solitaire works is it's not a single deck and then everybody draws from it like in a game. This is multiple decks that you create. As I explained on the map, the player map, you have different decks for different things, and you have to set up these decks before you can get ready to play. So you want to separate everything out. You have your place, door, and trap cards. Those you just mix all together and put into one deck. That will create the dungeon deck. And then you have your companions. There's going to be 6 companions. Those you just mix together and create a deck with that. Your random encounter and event cards, you put those all together, shuffle them up, and that will be your random encounter and your events. So I think the events, there's 9 in the events deck. So those get shuffled together, and since everything's face down, you need to know where it goes on the player map. The really cool thing is you created class cards, and these are perfect because this now gives you an adventurer to go through the dungeon. You get these 5 cards that are double-sided, beautiful art. They have a description on it, and yes, even with these cards, I did tweak them a little bit, but I took the text and just massaged it. So if I'm playing, like I said, if I have an adventure, an adventure, it pops out that when you attempt to defeat any place, door, chest, or any trap, you get a +1. So I went traps, cool. So if you're playing the adventure and you ever draw a trap while you're exploring, well, you get a +1 to the roll to defeat that card. So it was these little, these little modifiers that came out really cool. Like the hunter gets +1 whenever you're trying to defeat a creature. So you start off the game, you pick one of these character classes, and that will become your adventure. Very cool. So these aren't necessarily shuffled up. You just decide in the very beginning which one you want to be. You pick it. That is going to be your adventure for the whole game. Now the item cards. Item cards are kind of made up of a lot of the different cards. You have your treasure cards, which are your gold, silver, and bronze. You have special treasure cards, and then you have the main item cards. Now these all have to get mixed together, but you don't want to have all the treasure cards placed in one deck. The more playtesting I did, it just makes it too easy to win. So what I did was I had defined number of cards for the treasure cards, but I want to keep it random. So what you do is you take out all the cards and you put them in your piles for your gold, silver, and bronze. You shuffle them together, and I've already shuffled these, so you shuffle them in their piles, right? And then you draw 6 cards, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the bronze, 4 from the silver, and 2 from the gold. Obviously gold's much harder to find, and these cards make up your main treasure cards. They still have abilities on them, some don't. Place the statue in your realm. It doesn't have a special ability. But you do have some cards, place the idol in the realm. Any enter-exit roll, target idol suffers -2. So if someone's trying to steal it and they have to try and roll to get it, you get to use that modifier. So it's kind of really cool. Some of the treasures still have modifiers. But you'll put those together. You'll take your 3 special treasure cards. Now, the reason for the special treasure cards, these are, when they're drawn, these pull out a companion. So if you're defeat a creature and then you find out this is a treasure card, you'll draw a champion card and he may join you. You have to roll to see if he actually joins your party. But that's what these are specifically for. These produce a companion. So these get mixed in here. And then you take all your item cards and mix it all together. So you take these, you shuffle them all together. You know, you give it a lot of shuffles because, you know, you got everything mixed together. But once you get those shuffled together, you know, you take the ones that weren't drawn, put those off to the side. Now this becomes your item deck, you know, and you place it on the item deck. Then you have your creature cards. All the creature cards get mixed with the surprise cards. So you'll have your two piles, you know, you'll have your surprise cards and all your creature cards. And basically you just take those two piles, surprise and creatures, and just shuffle them all together. This will comprise of one creature deck. So surprise cards and creature cards will create a creature deck. That will go on the creature pile. The dungeon deck. Now the dungeon deck, as I said, is comprised of place cards, door cards, and traps. And the nice thing about these cards, like I said, a place card is going to be a dungeon room, basically. You've basically entered the room, you'll see the creature, you won't see what the treasure is, but you have to defeat the place to continue exploring. The nice thing about a place is you can decide to attack or defeat the place and or the creature. When you draw a door card, you'll draw the door card, draw a creature card, but you keep the creature card face down and slide it underneath the door. You have to defeat the door first to get to the creature. Basically, you're opening the door to enter the room. Now, you're not going to draw another place card just by defeating the door card. You will put the creature underneath the door card. You won't see it because the creature will be face down. And then once you defeat the door card, you get to encounter the creature. Then you defeat the creature and you'll find out what the item is. With a trap card, it's a little different. This is something that happens to you immediately. And trap cards are basically something you have to defeat to not take a point of damage. So right when you draw a trap card, there's no creature card or anything. You just have to roll and see if you can defeat the enter number, which is going to be equal to or greater than. If you don't, you're going to take a point of damage and move on your health chart, but then you discard the card. It goes into the discard pile. Then you would do a normal draw again from the dungeon pile. So the dungeon deck is comprised of the place, door, and trap cards. And you'll shuffle those all together, and those will make the dungeon deck. So pre-setup, like I said, is you will create decks, place them in their locations, events, random encounters, companions, face down. These are all face down. Like I said, that's why you need the map, because you got to see where these things go. And then you decide on your adventure. You go, okay, I want to play with an adventure card. So that is my class card. These get set aside. Take your two dice. One's always used in the dungeon area. Put the other dice, doesn't matter what the face is, and just put it on 20. And you're now ready with a setup board and your adventure. You're set to 20. You're ready to explore and play Treasures and Traps Solitaire.